All right, what's it up? I hope you guys have been enjoying the course thus far. In this module, in this lesson, we're going to be talking about the interview inspection. Now, what is the interview inspection? Well, basically, occasionally, our clients that we work for will provide us with work orders that have documents um, that need to be left at the property. So basically, a lot of times we'll call it letter delivery, door cards, a door letter. We call it, it can be called all those types of things. But whatever is called, we are supposed to leave some type of letter at the property. So, and the reason why I kept this video, um, the reason why I did this video down in the course is because this is probably going to be one of the longest videos because because of what you have to do. Now, I'm not saying the job is hard. However, what I am saying is there are certain procedures that you have to go through, that you have to do in order to, you know, complete this job correctly. So we're going to be going over some of those procedures as well. All right, so without further ado, we're going to be going ahead and jump right into this. Um, so let's go ahead and do this. All right, here we go. Welcome to the interview inspection and the field inspection mastery course. All right, let's go ahead and do this. So, some of the general requirements, general photo requirements for the interview inspection is you have your street signs, your street scenes, your address photo, the front view, left view, right view, your occupancy indicators, and an additional photo for this one. So you have all your standard photos, but then you have an additional photo, which is the photo of you delivering the letter to the homeowner. Now we're going to go into how do you deliver these letters to the homeowner? Where do you get these letters from? How do you post them? And things like that. So we're going to talk about all of that inside this lesson today. So the interview the interview inspection. Basically, again, occasionally our clients send us work orders that will include documents to be left at a property. And they come in two different forms, generally. Door cards and FTVs. Now, we're going to talk about both of these inside of here, okay? So that you know what both of these are. You'll have some examples and you can, you know, be able to have this knowledge so that you can go out here and get residential inspection jobs. Okay. So, what are door cards? Essentially, a door card is just a letter for the homeowner that is left at the property or left at the door in a sealed envelope if no contact is made with anyone. But that's basically what a door card is. And it's not necessarily if no contact is made, but a door card is basically just a letter for the homeowner for them to contact their mortgage company. Plain and simple. So, where do you find these door cards from? Well, it actually depends on who you are working for, okay? Because, and what kind of processes they have, what kind of apps they're using, and things like that. So, this is just a generic guide on where you're able to find these door cards when you receive these type of work orders. Because most times you're going to be supplied with this stuff, usually by the company. And they're usually going to either supply it through the app where you can click a print button and print the document. You can usually get it from the client's website. These are all the places that I've actually gotten my door cards and supplies from. On the client's website, you can Maybe it's a file created. Oh, I missed that one. Maybe it's a file created by the client that you have to, get your documents from. Maybe it's a file that you created um, from the different clients that you've worked for. And some clients will actually mail you out these door cards and things. So it just depends on who you are working for, um, to where you can find these letters to deliver to a homeowner or to a property. So we're going to talk about some of the supplies, some of the supplies that you'll get if if a client mails it out to you. Now this here is an example of a door card. All right. So I'm just showing you an example of a door card. This is a generic door card um, that actually they sent me out like a couple of casefuls of these door cards because I was doing so many properties. But this is an example of a door card, and it has an envelope. So we're going to talk about the proper use of this kind of door card as well. But I wanted you to see what a door card really looks like, or an example of a door card. Okay. So basically, when you are getting ready to arrive at a property, and the reason why I started at the photo section is because before you get to a property, you want to start taking your photos. Okay. And then I usually prepare my door cards well in advance. And so I'll give you some tips on preparing your door cards, um, once you understand how to prepare them and everything. So preparing your door cards is pretty simple. Basically, you just want to fill the door hanger out using the information from the work order. The work order will contain the homeowner's name, the mortgage company phone number, and things like that. So, and it also has a date on there. So these are some of the things that you want to do. Write the name of the company or the person to contact in the name section. Write the date on there, and also include the phone number that is provided with your work order. And I'll show you an example of that as well. And this is just preparing your door card. Now you want to fill this out. Usually what I've done in the past is, I have a list of properties I go to. I have the type of inspection it is, and if it's an interview inspection, I go in and see what type of who is coming from, because every bank will have a different type of door card. Not really a different type of door card, because you can use this particular door card because it is generic, and write the bank's, the company or the bank's name, or the company, the person or the bank's name up under the name section, and then you write the phone number. And I prepared all of these before I even went to a property. That way, I had a little file box. Let's just call this my little file box. But I had a little file box, and I had envelopes, and I had a little code that I wrote on the outside of the envelope, so that I know what bank it was, and so I can pull out whatever bank that that property homeowner is going through. So if they have a letter delivery, I'm taking my photos. Now I'm sitting in front of the house. I've already got my front photo, got all my exterior photos that I need. Now it's time to prepare my door card, or grab my door card. So all I have to do is look for the bank name, because I see it on the work order. Look for the bank name in my trusty box of prepared door cards, and pull out the door card. Just write the date on there real quick, and go up to the door. That's pretty much how I prepare my door cards. I prepare them in advance. So again, like I said, some companies will send you out door cards and supplies and things like that. However, if you're using your own supplies, say you haven't, maybe the company does not provide you supplies, or say that you have to provide your own supplies. Well, here are some of the supplies that you're going to need, um, or and recommended to deliver letters to homeowners and deliver door cards. Okay, so if you're using your own supplies, first you're going to need a printer so that you can print out your door cards. You know, and don't worry, everything that you purchase for your business is tax deductible. Okay, so you're going to need a printer to print out some door cards. Make sure you have some paper for your printer. You're going to need plain envelopes. Some cheapy plain envelopes will work just fine. Um, you're going to need a confidential stamp, which is optional, and I'll explain to you why. You may need some painter's tape, which is also optional. And these are just supplies that you may or may not need during a letter delivery inspection that you're doing. So you can find like the confidential stamps and the plain white envelopes. Confidential stamps, you can go to like Office Depot. It's less than $10. Um, you can buy a box of plain envelopes if you don't want to go to Amazon and buy a huge container of envelopes. You can buy a box of envelopes for under $10. There's some from Walmart, Amazon, Kmart, wherever you're at, office supply store. So you can buy that. What I've done in the past, before I was being sent out supplies, was I would order through Amazon and buy a box of 500, because it saved me down the line. Okay, now for the confidential stamp, you're not required to buy a stamp, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it is real quick and easy to use a stamp to snap confidential on a envelope, because one of the requirements for door card delivery, especially if you are using your own supplies, it has to have confidential on the outside of the envelope. So you can either write it or you can stamp it. And for me, stamping was just a whole lot easier. I can just go through my pile of envelopes and just stamp my envelopes away. That way all my envelopes, all my plain white envelopes like you see right here, are all stamped. And now my envelopes are ready. Now all I need is a door letter to put inside my envelope. All right, so we're going to get inside door letters. Now, this is all from you printing this information. All this stuff is pre-printed, but a lot of times they'll give you a file to download any type of door cards that you're going to need for different clients that we're going to be doing work for. Now, this is one example of a door card, and as you can see, where I've circled down at the bottom, if you can see that real good, is the form has a particular number. We use different form numbers, and it tells you what client this form is used for, and how to deliver it. So basically, it's telling you this form I-116 should be 5 by 3 inches, folded in half, and then placed in a confidential envelope and placed over the door handle. Okay, so we're going to talk about some ways of where you're supposed to leave your door card, but it gives you the instructions on how to leave the door card. The main thing about the instructions on these door cards is the form number and the client, who I didn't circle it, but right below that circle you'll see the clients who uses this door card. I just skipped over, but you can see it on this one. This is another example of a door card, but it shows you Not on this one. Give me 1 second. Let me go back. Okay. If you can see towards the bottom up under the big circle, it tells you what clients this door card, who uses this door card, what client uses this door card. So this is important information. Okay, the clients that use the door card and the form number of the door card, all right? This is another example. As you can see, both of them are pretty much the same. The difference is with this one, let's go back to this one. As you can see with this one, you need to fill out the date. The date is empty. There's no phone number to contact here. So this form is empty. So you're gonna have to put in a date and put in the contact phone number of who is on the work order. Who does a work order want that homeowner to contact? Okay, and you'll find all of that. Now, this is another example. Again, as you can see, it comes in English and Spanish, but this time, this door card has the phone number on here, but it does not have the date. Okay, all right. This is again Form 1I-126, but but you'll have different form numbers for different clients. All right. So when you're preparing these self-created door cards, and when I say self-created, that means you've printed them from a file. Basically that means they did not send you out prepared supplies. Okay. So when you're filling out this, you basically want to fill out the door hanger using the information from the work order. Again, you'll have that information all on your work order. So you want to write the date, you want to write the name of the company or the person to contact if that's not supplied. In this particular case, the name is not supplied, so I would actually write the name of the company on this door card, even though the phone number is there. So you want to write the phone number if that's not supplied. As you can see in this case, the phone number is supplied, so we don't have to worry about the phone number. You know, the phone number is already there. And you want to add any other information required from the work order door card. Generally, this is all that's required on a door card, but however, you may run into some instances where you may have to add some additional information. I've never run into that issue before, but you know, it is possible. So what's next? So now you've taken your photo, you've taken your initial photos, you're at the property, you filled out your door card, you've stuck it in an envelope. What do you do now? It's time to deliver the door card to the occupant or to the person at the residence. So again, while you're delivering your door cards, most times if it's during certain business hours, most times people aren't going to be home. People, going to be at work. Usually, that's usually how it happens. But if you happen to deliver a door card, you're going up to the house. Maybe the door is open. Maybe the homeowner's outside. Yada yada yada. But it's obvious that the occupant is home. Maybe they open up the door when you get to the door. The only thing that you have to do when you're delivering a door card is, if they're home, just hand them the envelope. That's it. And just let them know that their mortgage company would like them to call. And that's it. And you get back in the car. That's it. All right? Under no circumstances are you to take a photo of the homeowner or you handing the envelope to the homeowner. Never take those photos, okay? So you can't document proof that you handed the homeowner the envelope. You don't have photo documentation. So the only thing that you do is you make notations in your report, because most times they're going to ask you if a letter is required to be delivered to the home. You're going to have probably a yes no question that you have to check. um, was the occupant home? Did you deliver the door card? You um, did you hand the door card to the occupant? You may have some similar questions like that, and if you do, just hit yes and keep it moving. All right. They just want to know that we actually delivered on those kind of jobs. On this kind of job right here, if you've delivered the door card directly to the occupant, that is perfectly fine. Just document it. Just let them know in your note section, because you will usually have a note section too. Occupant was outside, handed door letter to occupant. Occupant opened the door, handed door letter to occupant. Occupant pulled in while I was at the door. Whatever the case may be, you handed the door letter to the occupant. All right. That's just plain and simple. And just answer the question properly on your inspection form. Now, delivering door cards when the occupant is not home. Plain and simple. Most people are at work, right? So what you want to do is you want to place that envelope that you filled up with that door card in there. Place that envelope at the front door and take a photo of it at the property, just like you see in this example right here. That's actually my hand right there, but just like you see in the picture right there. And if you can see right here in that corner here, just below my thumb, that is a code that I was saying that I usually write on my envelopes. It's not identifying any banks or any particular person. Basically, that is a code that I put on the outside of my envelopes, so that I know which company this particular door card is for, so I can just grab a door card and keep moving. Okay, time saving methods. All right, so that's all you want to do. You just want to place the envelope in the crack of the front door and take a photo of it, get back in your car, dip. All right. Now, if you are delivering door cards, and say you've seen the last photo where I just kind of stuck it in the crack of the door. Well, some people like to tape their door cards to the door. Just remember that if you are using tape to leave your letter at a door, it could pull off tape when the homeowner, comes home and tries to pull it off. Okay, so what you want to do is use painter's tape, so that so it doesn't cause any damage to the door, because they will complain about that. So just use some painter tape to tape it to the door. I really don't recommend tape, but there are times where where tape may have to be used. So I usually kept a roll of tape in my car as well, just for purposes where I could not actually affix the door letter anywhere. All right, and I had to use tape. I use tape as my last resort. Now, we're going to talk about some best practices for delivering door cards, okay? Because when you're leaving a letter for the client, you want to make sure that it is in a sealed envelope. You can't tell that envelope is sealed, but that envelope is sealed in the back, and you want to write the word confidential on the outside of the envelope. As you can see in this picture, I stamped confidential on there. Okay, I stamped confidential on there because, again, it saves me time. However, if you don't want to buy a stamp, you can always write the word confidential on the outside of the envelope. Now, this one, another thing about this one is envelopes. When you're using the envelopes, your envelopes, because if you're using supplied envelopes like the very first picture that I showed you, that's already pre-printed. All you got to do is pull the door card off and stick it in the envelope. You don't have to worry about having confidential on that. What I am saying about having confidential on your envelopes is the envelopes the plain white envelopes that you purchase yourself, that you're supplying. That is when you write confidential on the envelope, all right? Or stamp it. So, delivering door cards, okay? As you can see in these three pictures, people put these door hangers on all kinds of places, all right? They put it on a car, on a clothesline, on a boarded up, you know, boarded up surface. You never, never, never leave a door hanger like this, okay? The door hanger has to be at the door, okay? You can't, it should only be left at the door. Don't put it on random places like this. If there's an instance where you cannot get to the door, document it. Document it and tell them why you were unable to leave the door hanger. But never do any of these. It has to be at the door. It has to be at the door, okay? Another thing that people do wrong is they put the door hangers on the mailbox, on a homeowner's mailbox. You never, never, never put anything on the mailbox. Do not touch the mailbox. Do not put anything inside the mailbox. Do not put anything on the outside of the mailbox. Do not open the mailbox because it is a federal offense. Okay? So do not touch the mailbox. Do not put it on fences and things like that. If you can't get to the door, don't put it on a fence. It must. I was looking for something, I was getting excited. But it must be on the front door. Okay? Plain and simple. Bottom line. It's gotta be at the front door. Alright. This is another practice that you should never do. These are letters. These are open-faced letters. Basically, these are letters that an inspector printed out, filled out, and taped it open on a door or near the front door. Never, 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 never do that. Tell you why. That's a potential lawsuit. Okay, so never do that. Any letter, because as we've spoken before, what's on that door card could be could be the borrower's name, could be the mortgage name, it's the mortgage phone number. This is private information. Okay, so that means all that information that you see in these pictures right here is open to the public. Anybody could walk up to that front door and see this information and start assuming what's going on with this house. You know, we don't know why, you know, the mortgage company sent us out here, sent us out to a property. We don't know that. We don't know the reason why. So there's no reason to have a letter that's supposed to be private for the homeowner to be open-faced like this to the general public. Okay? So never do this. You will stir up a lawsuit doing this. So just make sure that your door cards, that the door card information that you fill out is always in a sealed envelope when you leave it at the property. Okay? See, it's against the law to tape an open-faced, non-sealed letter on a debtor's property. Doing this could not only cause immediate termination, but it can also result in a lawsuit by failing to comply with the laws of the FDCPA. And what is the FDCPA? It's the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, okay? So all letters that you leave and that you deliver to the homeowner from the client, it must be in a sealed envelope, all right? So let's avoid lawsuits. Let's avoid, doing all this stupid stuff. Let's do our job right, because that's what we're there to do. We're there to do a job. All right. So, sometimes you run into situations when you know, delivering a letter and there's a vicious dog. Oh, I've run into that quite a few times. Woo! Anyway, guys, if there are vicious dogs on the loose at the property, never put yourself in harm's way to put a letter at the door. Never. Because, what you want to do is just document, notate the reason why you didn't leave a letter. It was because of dogs. But, if you can, you must prove. You must prove that there was a dog at the property to help you prove your point. Okay? So, what I've done, we always have our camera in our hand, at least I do, because as I'm walking up, I'm usually using my cell phone. So as I'm walking up, I'm snapping my occupancy indicators, and if there's a dog, or if maybe I didn't even get out the car because I seen that vicious dog that was loose, laying maybe at the front door. So I'm like, and matter of fact, I don't care if it's a vicious dog or not. If there's a dog, especially a huge dog, and sometimes these little dogs, but if there's a dog outside blocking access to the front door, you know, I don't know your dog. You know what I mean? Your dog could be the sweetest dog in the whole wide world. I don't know that. I don't live there. So if there's a dog there, guess what? I'm not going close. I will zoom in, snap my photo of the dog, and keep it moving, because I will not put myself in harm's way for $1, or not that these inspections pay $1, but for money. I'm not going to risk my life or risk, my safety to do a job. That's just plain and simple. So if there's a dog, I've run into situations where, there was a dog on the front porch. I couldn't see everything on the porch. The porch was raised, so I had to walk up steps. And as soon as I walked up the steps, I turned to my right, and a dog started charging at me. Me. I turned back around, and woo! I got off. It turned out the dog was chained up. However, I didn't know that. I wasn't gonna wait around to see that. So what I did was, as soon as I was safe, I snapped a picture of the dog, because the dog was still looking at me. I snapped a picture of the dog and walked away, went back to my car. Okay? So, you got to be aware of your surroundings, okay? Because you will run into, animals, you will run into angry people, so you just have to watch your surroundings. So, some of the door card best practices that we adhere to is we never leave never leave a letter at the door before 8 a.m. and never after 9 p.m. either. Okay, so that is usually your window, depending on the time of year it is. We have daylight savings time, so you want to do your job in daylight hours. So consider this as a 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. as like the summertime hours, because it gets dark later and light earlier. So consider this as summertime. But during the winter months, when time change and you lose time on the back end, always do your job in daylight hours, because your jobs will get rejected if it's too dark. Okay, and you won't get paid. So just do your job in the daylight hours. And the next thing that I want you to remember is, when you're delivering your door cards, make sure it's in a sealed envelope. You know, just make sure it is in a sealed envelope. And if you're using your own supplies, just make sure that is sealed and it has the word confidential on the outside of the envelope. All right, so let's talk about these FTVs. What are FTVs? I know you probably wonder, what the hell is a FTV? Well, FTVs, it stands for first time vacant. And it's also referred to as a particular vacancy posting. All right, so, let's just, and it pretty much tells you exactly what that means, first time vacant. So that basically, if a property was previously occupied, and say the homeowner moved out. So you went 1 month, property was occupied, you went back the next month, because remember, once you start receiving these orders from one property, they usually go on for a minimum 6 months, sometimes up to a year or more. I've done properties where I've done them for 2 years, on a continuous basis, every month for 2 years. So that's where job security comes in. But anyway, I went to a property where it was occupied 1 month, and the next month I went, the property was completely cleared out. The homeowner vacated the property. That is considered a first time vacant. This is the first time I arrived at this property. It was occupied, now it's vacant. All right, so we have to post a vacancy, a first time vacancy posting. All right, so FTVs. So I'm going to be referring to these first time vacants as FTVs. So please refer back to first time vacant when I say FTV. All right. So these FTVs is basically a vacancy post. It's a vacancy posting that is not a letter. This is not a letter to the homeowner, okay, asking them to call the creditor. This is not that, okay. This is a public posting that provides the public information about the vacancy status of that particular property. All right. So I found that property to be vacant now. So now I'm posting information on that property that says, hey, this property is vacant. If this property is not vacant, if there's a mistake, please call this. Please call this number if this property is not vacant. Because sometimes we make mistakes, right? But when you deem when you deem a property as first time vacant, you must post a vacancy notice. All right, and that is your first time vacancy notice. So here we we have some examples here of an FTV sticker. Sometimes they will send you these as well, but this document itself came from a file that I had to download, print out myself, and deliver. So these kind of notices I have to use tape because I don't have any other way of installing it. So you have to use tape for this. That's why I say the painter's tape is real good to have on hand, especially for these, especially if you have to print out all your paperwork in order to post, especially these first time vacant stickers, to post these notices. All right, as you can see here, I'm gonna read the notice here. It's in English and Spanish. So it says, this property has been determined to be vacant and abandoned. This information will be reported to the mortgage servicer. The mortgage servicer intends to protect this property from waste and or deterioration. This property may have its locks replaced and or plumbing systems winterized in the next few days. So this is a notice that we're putting on there. So we have deemed that property to be vacant. So now this is public information. We're telling them, hey, this property is vacant. We reported this property is vacant. So now we are reporting this to the mortgage company so they can come out and remove any type of debris, change the locks, and winterize the property or whatever they need to do to the property so that they can keep their property in good condition. That is why we have to determine the proper occupancy status on different properties. Okay, now it goes on to say if this property is not vacant and abandoned, please call MCS immediately at yada 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 yada. Now this is one type of vacancy sticker by MCS. MCS and Safeguard are two of the biggest companies that provide that work for the banks, that provide different uh, companies with work orders for them to do. So that's a key now. MCS and Safeguard are the biggest companies that provide inspections to us. Basically, they're providing you. We can actually go directly through them and have a business working through them, or we can do like I do, and I just let these other companies work, grab the jobs from MCS and Safeguard and distribute it to me. Okay, even though that's considered like the middleman. My client is considered like a middleman, but that's no big deal to me. But the reason why I say there's so much possibilities in here is because you have the possibility to go directly to the major companies if you decide to make this a business for you. Okay, so this was an example of a first time vacancy sticker. Here's another example. It pretty much says the same thing. As you can see, again at the bottom, it has the client. On the other one, it did too, but it has the clients who use this particular vacancy sticker. All right, and it has the instructions for the different clients. At the bottom here, for a certain particular client, it says no envelope, just affixed to the front door. And for these other clients here, it says place in an envelope with occupant written on the front and affixed to the front door. So there are certain ways that is really important that you pay attention to your instructions and knowing what client you are actually doing work for, because some clients require these vacancy stickers to be posted in different ways, as you've seen just now where I just showed you where the client instructions. All right, here's another. That first one, that was that was another MCS vacancy sticker. Okay, but that one was different from this one because it's for a different client. This is form 101. This is form 102. It's for different clients. And this one is a Safeguard vacancy sticker, basically saying the same thing. We found this property to be vacant, and if it's not vacant, please call Safeguard. So once you determine a property to be vacant, you have to post these little stickers on here. Usually Safeguard, these stickers right here, usually Safeguard sends you out a roll of stickers where you can just peel and it's already sticky and you just slap it on the door. Okay. All right, FTVs. Now these are only to be left at a property if the property is deemed truly vacant. Okay, make sure there's no shadow of a doubt, that that property is vacant and the order is not a no contact order. Okay, so place the first time vacancy sticker in a highly visible location on or around the front door of the home. Most people don't want you to put it on a window, but just try your best to put it on something where it can easily come off of, because those stickers can be pretty sticky, unless you're using the painter's tape and stuff like that. But just try to follow the work order's recommendations on where to place your sticker. Always read your instructions. Always read your work order, and your work order will override anything that you're learning here or just make sure that you are following the instructions of the work order, because again, this training is just to give you a basic overview of what is expected for field inspectors and how to do these kind of jobs. All right, so is the property deemed first time vacant? All right, if it is, all right, if you have deemed the property to be first time vacant, okay, now what you want to do, you've already taken your general photos, you've attempted to deliver your door card, but hey, you must, oh, by the way, even if it's vacant, you still must deliver your door card. All right, deliver your door card. Just leave it at the door anyway, even if it's vacant. However, so now you've taken all your photos, you've gotten up to the door. Oh, this property is now vacant. You left your door card, you took a picture of it. All right, you posted your first time vacant, you took a picture of it, because you have to take a picture of anything that you post at the property. Take a picture. All right, so what you want to do now is you want to walk the perimeter of the property and provide photo documentation of some of these things if possible. Walk the perimeter. Look for any damages, any siding damage, any roof damage, any neglect, busted windows, yada, yada, yada. Check to see if the property needs to be secured. Are windows open? Are doors unlocked? Things like that. Check the utility status. We're going to be talking about how to check the utilities and everything later on in this course, but you want to check the utility status. Okay? Are the utilities on and off? Is the water on and off? Is the electric on and off? Is the gas on and off? Yada, yada, yada. You want to look for personal property. Are there cars in the yard? Are there, what kind of personal property is still at the property? Can you see inside the property? Do you see debris inside the property? You want to look at the grass. How high is the grass? 3 inches, 6 inches, 12 inches above your head? What? How tall is the grass? Are there any posted city violations? Okay, did the city come out and post a violation? Oh, back to the grass stuff, for areas that have snow, I'm not in a snowy area, but if for areas that have snow, is there a need for snow to be removed? Because that is a safety hazard. The snow needs to be removed from the driveway, the walkways, and things like that, so that other people who are coming onto the property will not be hurt. So these are all prevention things, okay? So these are things that we need to look for. So again, posted violations. Did the city come out and post a violation because the grass wasn't cut? It was too much debris. Whatever the case, whatever the posted violation is. If there's a posted violation, you must snap a picture of it, okay? Anything that, if there's damages, snap a picture. If a door is unlocked or a window is open, snap a picture. Take a picture of your utilities. Are there personals on the property? You're supposed to be taking personals anyway with your standard photos, but snap a picture. Is there debris in the yard or debris in the house? Snap a picture. How tall is the grass? If the grass is super high, snap a picture. If there's posted violations, snap a picture. It's just snapping pictures of things that you would consider to be proof to prove your point that this property is now vacant. That's all it is. This may sound all complicated and all, but it's not complicated at all. If you can remember the things that you need to look for when you are at a property, it becomes like you start running on autopilot, because now once you get into the groove of things, you start just moving through things, because now you're immediately looking for this, immediately looking for that, and now you're right there and you're getting this done and you in and out of there. All right, and you done made your money. But the thing about it is, you have to know, and it's about repetition. Doing these over and over and over again will increase your speed over time, and the faster you are, the more money you make. Plain and simple. All right, so it's considered first time vacant. You know, you want to you want to make sure that you provide as much information as possible on a vacant property because you want to report that this property is truly vacant. So sometimes it may require you to do some additional research. Okay, you might have to, you know, contact the tax assessor office or some kind of local agency, maybe your local utilities, utility company, to find out, if utilities are on at this property in a particular person's name, or did they transfer service. Okay, uh, the utility companies usually will provide you that information. The tax assessor, you can usually find that kind of information, um, for information that you may need to deem that property as vacant. All right, so you may have to do some additional research. All right, so now you've taken all your photos, you have, you know um, delivered your door cards, you have maybe you either delivered your door card or you considered a property first time vacant. Now, and you walked the property. If it was vacant, you walked the property, you got your damages, you got all your other photos that you needed, your utilities, all of that stuff. All right, so now you're ready to submit your report. So just make sure you have all the information that you need to in order to complete your report, and make sure that all your required photos have been taken, and just make sure that you are determining the correct occupancy status of that property. And pretty much you are all finished with this report. All right, so I am going to actually today I'm going to do a demo video for you guys. It'll be in the next video on how I would do a interview inspection. All right, and I'm also going to try to do another video on just a standard inspection, but we'll see. But right now, this is the information that you need in order to complete an interview inspection. All right, so until next time, I'll see you in the next video.